everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we have a fun episode. We're going to be taking a look at a police trade-in, an MP40 1.0. Should be fun. Let's get to shooting. Okay, well, this is what the pistol used to look like. And bam, this is what it looks like now. Isn't that pretty exciting? I thought that would be fun. We got a police trade-in on really low budget. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today is oftentimes right now, we live in a golden age in 2024 in terms of pistols. And you can get so many. There are so many different offerings. The Glock Gen 3 is no longer under patent restrictions, and so many companies are copying them, putting out fantastic products. You can get the PSA Dagger, you can get a Kiger, you can get, just on and on and on. There are so many different pistols that you can get out on the market right now. Well, sometimes the quality on some of these pistols is not great. So what about going the used market route? And right now there is a whole bunch of really awesome guns out on the used market, including a number of police trade-ins. This gun was a police trade-in. Now, I don't know who used it. There were no markings on it that indicated which police agency used it. And in fact, it was hardly even used. The only reason I could really tell it was used was because it had some skin on the back strap and just a little tiny bit of wear up front. Really wasn't much. That can be achieved after shooting 100 rounds or something like that. So was really impressed with that. But if those of you who follow my channel, some of you may think, oh my gosh, an MP40 1.0, that's such an heirloom. Ha 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 ha. But why would you do that, Trigger Bar, to a perfectly good gun? Well, I really like a gun to have an optics cut. So I went in and got it milled. I got it milled for the Holosun 507K footprint, or the RMSC. That was in conjunction with consultation with my gunsmith, who said that that would probably work the best with the sights behind it and how much space he wanted to leave up front. And so he recommended this footprint, of course. And then I put on it a Holosun 507K green dot. And of course you can put on there an EPS, which makes it pretty much a full-size dot. As you can tell, this dot fits pretty well, but it's just a little bit shorter, although it's just super integrated. I'll get a little bit closer. It almost hits perfectly with that bevel. So I'm more and more liking this K footprint, or the 507K footprint. It's also sometimes called the RMSC or RMRC type footprint. Then once we had the cuts, I knew I was going to get this cut. He said, what color are we going to Cerakote this in? And then I'm like, got me to thinking, what if we did OD green, and then we put down some templates, is what he was telling me, actually. I didn't say that. And then what if we do black on top of that to keep the OD green? And yeah, we kind of talked it through, and I'm just super happy with it. So the gunsmith who did this for me, when I paid to have this work done, is SD Gunworks. He's here in Pennsylvania. Feel free to look him up on the web, and you'll probably even see this pistol on there. But yeah, it's really a fantastic pistol. Super happy about it, but really enjoying it. And so if this is something that that you're looking to get some type of gun, maybe not the MP40 1.0, all jokes aside, and you want some work done on it, he's happy to do it. Again, no affiliation with him other than I used him in it. So yeah, so that's how it's looking. I have shot it. I shot it before I did these modifications. I've shot a little bit after. I'm super excited to get out today though, do some filming with it and do some shooting. I'm only at a 7-yard range, so that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, well, let's get this sucker going. We've got some 180 grain MagTech. I do have my Garmin chronograph out, I have my Garmin Zero out to get us some velocities. I'm at 7 yards. I don't think it's going to pick it up because usually the Garmin needs 15 yards to pick it up. So I would love to say that I can pick it up, but I don't think I'm going to. So, but let's see where we're at for zeroing the dot. Not bad for 7-yard zero. And that did pick it up. It says 978.6. That's pretty good. 941. 971. 971 again. It may not have picked it up. Who knows? 971 again. I suspect it's not picking it up right now. 982, it said that time. 951. 951 again. 967, and let's pick up the pace just a little bit. All right, a little bit of flinch, but hey, that was fun. Dot's doing pretty good. Yeah, what do you guys think of that? We got some great recordings. 180 grain, 980 feet per second. It's not terrible. I've had 10 millimeter rounds do that on me. I had some PPU ammunition and 10 millimeter. That's exactly what I had chronographed for it. So not terrible for 40 Smith & Wesson. Pretty cool. All right, well, we've got 5 rounds. We're going to see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this if we go slow. All right, 7 yards, 21 feet. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Well, one of the things that we're told is that 40 Smith & Wesson comes with too much recoil relative to 9 millimeter and not enough extra oomph to make a difference. We're going to have some other videos, and other people have done that. You're still going to have to be the judge on if it has enough umps to make a difference. But let's see how well Trigger Bar at least can shoot it when you get one of these police pistols and put a dot on it. And we're out. So shots are flailing around a little bit. One of the things that I forgot to mention is that, oftentimes you lose capacity, but this really is about a Glock 19. It may be just a little bit bigger. It's a full-size M&P 1.0, but it's not that much smaller. The hand grip isn't that much smaller, bigger than a Glock 19. In fact, it's definitely smaller than a Glock 17. But yet you still get the 15 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson. I don't know. I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know that my shooting is going to get tons better when I try and rush myself. I have many other videos where I have done some of these transitions before, and it looks about like that. That's about as good as I am at the moment. Okay, well, that time as we shot, we were doing our Garmin C0, or Garmin 1 C0, and we had an average of 975, a min of 973 and a max of 975, which isn't ton, but it only picked up 2 shots. And the kinetic energy is around 378, which again, isn't super great, isn't super powerful. 40 Smith & Wesson, you can see it go just a little bit faster. But again, this is range ammunition. And when we've tested some of our Blazer Brass, well, let's see, Magtech and Blazer Brass for our 10 millimeter series did pretty good. If you haven't watched that, I have a whole series called Spicy or Lame, at least the first 6 episodes where we cover range ammunition for 10 millimeter. So yeah, so at about 300 feet per second, or 378 energy foot-pounds, that's like little over plus P 9 millimeter for what it's worth. All right, well, next up, we're going to set up this Garmin. We'll see what we can get, and we can record when we shoot some Winchester white box. Okay, well, to finish up our shooting, we got 15 rounds of this Winchester white box. We have our Garmin out. We'll just shoot, and we'll see what we get at the end of it. Woo! That's the target there. All right. Well, that was just a little bit spicier. The min was 993, the max was 998. It also only got 3 shots, and it was about 400 energy foot-pounds that we're seeing on these shots out of the Garmin. Again, I would like to retest some of this when we get back at further range. But for now, let's talk about this gun. All right, well, let's talk about the MMP 1.0, MMP 40 1.0. These came out around 2007, and I'm sure for the time they were pretty kind of game-changing because they had these 15 rounds in them. And they were discontinued somewhere around 2017, 2018. I think during that time they did a couple of upgrades in it because I had, what's the right way of saying this? I didn't have trigger issues, but I wanted to see if I did have trigger issues and I put an Apex trigger in here, would that fix any issues that I had? So with that Apex trigger in here, and when I was putting it in, they were mentioning some different scenarios. If you have this version, if you got it before this time or that time, there could be some issues. Mine went right in, so I suspect mine was post 2011. And so that's where, yeah. So at any rate, mine went in great. Took a little bit more work than I was expecting, but overall not that bad. The trigger pull when I got it was around 6.5 pounds as my police special, and it's now somewhere around 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds, right in there. Very crisp, very nice take up. You can see if I can do it from this side. Starts here. I really like the aluminum instead of the bendy boy. It has one of those brake triggers on it. But you can hear, very crisp. Let's pin it back. Let's pin this back. You can see that it's got just a little bit of take up before it resets, and then boom, you're back on it. Again, I measured those with my trigger gauge multiple times, and it's right around 4 pound, 4.5 pound trigger. And before that, it was a 6.5 pound trigger. So that ability to fix your trigger on these older guns is pretty important if you get my meaning and get my drift. Maybe originally had some night sights, but these are long gone. And you can drift them, front and rear driftable. In order to do some of the changes that I had to make on it, you do have to take your rear sight off, which is an odd thing for me to do. Take your rear sight out, and that allowed you to, in order to change some of the lockup features in your slide to improve that. So, I mean, I love the coloring. I love how this turned out. Fantastic job, SD Gunworks, Steve over there, and yeah, like the dot, it seems to be zeroed in pretty well, seems to be shooting just fantastically. I think that this is a serious option that people need to consider when they're looking at, do I get this modern pistol that I can buy brand new, or do I go and get one of these police trade-ins for pretty much the same price, but you're getting a top-of-the-line company's gun? Like this gun brand new would cost 3 or 4 times what I paid for it. So that's something that you have to consider. Now, I put all of that back into it. And so maybe that, might think, Trigger Bar, you're stupid, or you're crazy, whatever. Guns are fun. And so that was what I chose to do with it. And I hope you like my little project. I hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.